The housemaid who took my husband, the girl from the village. The day I brought F.A. into my home, the Hamatan wind was blowing dust across our compound in Benin City. I remember because my curtains had just been washed, and I kept shouting at my son to close the windows. Her mother brought her from Uromi, a thin girl with wide eyes and cracked heels. She couldn't have been more than 19. She wore a faded Ankara gown and carried her life in a small Ghana must-go bag. "I just want her to work and go to school," her mother said. "Madam, help us." I looked at my husband, Kunle. He was seated on the brown leather sofa, scrolling through his phone. "It's fine," he said without looking up, "as long as she is hard-working." I felt pity. I had just resumed my job at a private bank, and balancing work, my son, Aman, and the house was draining me. I thought F.A. would be a blessing. I didn't know I had opened my door to a storm. Before we continue, please like, comment, share, and follow. At first, she was everything I prayed for. She woke before me, swept the compound, cooked jollof rice that tasted almost like my mother's. She plaited my hair sometimes when I was too tired. She carried Iman on her back like a sister would. Even Kunle began to praise her. "This girl is smart," he would say. "She understands things quickly." I smiled, proud of my decision. But slowly, I noticed small things. She laughed too loudly at his jokes. She served his food personally even when I was around. If I asked her to bring something for me, she would say, "Yes, madam," but if Kunle called her name, she would run. I told myself I was overthinking. After all, she was just a housemaid. Don't forget to click on the follow button before we continue. The late nights. Kunle began coming home late. Before, he would call me during traffic, complain about fuel scarcity, or tell me about office gossip. Now he barely called. One evening, I returned early from work. As I entered the sitting room, I heard laughter from the kitchen. Kunle's laughter. I paused. Through the half-open kitchen door, I saw them. F.A. was stirring stew. Kunle was standing too close behind her, saying something that made her giggle shyly. When she noticed me, she jumped back. "Good evening, madam," she said quickly. Kunle cleared his throat. "You're back early." I forced a smile. "Yes, but something inside me shifted." Please don't forget to click on the follow button before we continue. F.A. started dressing differently. The loose village gowns disappeared. She began wearing tighter clothes around the house, lip gloss. Sometimes even my perfumes went missing. One afternoon, I found her in my bedroom. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I came to clean, madam." But the bed was already made, and she was standing near my wardrobe. Later that night, I confronted Kunle. "I don't like how close you are to her." He laughed. "Are you mad? She's a child." "She's not a child," I replied quietly. He became angry. "Don't start this nonsense jealousy." I kept quiet. Nigerian wives are taught to endure, to pray, to be patient. So I prayed. Before we continue, please like, comment, share, and follow. The truth came like thunder. One Saturday, I forgot my phone at home and returned to pick it up. The house was quiet, too quiet. As I approached our bedroom, I heard a sound, a whisper, a gasp. My heart began to race. I pushed the door open. Time stopped. Kunle and Efe on my bed. My world shattered in 1 second. Efe screamed and covered herself. Kunle jumped up. "Listen," he started. I couldn't hear him. My ears were ringing. In that moment, I felt small, replaceable, foolish. The girl I fed, the girl I defended, she was in my place. Please don't forget to click on the follow button before we continue. Her mother came crying the next day when I called her. "Madame, I'm sorry. I didn't know she would disgrace us." Efe knelt on the floor, begging, "Madame, forgive me." But my anger wasn't even fully for her. It was for Kunle. My husband blamed me. "You're never around. You're always busy with work." "So you slept with the maid?" I asked, my voice shaking. "It just happened." It just happened, as if betrayal was rain falling from the sky. Before we continue, please like, comment, share, and follow. In Nigeria, secrets don't stay hidden. Our neighbor saw Efe leaving one night with Kunle in his car. Soon, whispers began. At church, women stopped talking when I passed. One woman said loudly, "Some wives focus too much on career and forget their homes." I felt their eyes on me. Kunle stopped pretending. He rented a small apartment for Efe. He said he was helping her, but he spent more nights there. My son began asking, "Mommy, why doesn't Daddy sleep here again?" I had no answer. Please don't forget to click on the follow button before we continue. Months later, Kunle did the unthinkable. He brought Efe back, not as a maid, but as his second woman. "We're Africans," he said boldly. "Men marry more than one wife." I stared at him. "You never discussed this with me." "I'm discussing it now." Efe no longer called me madame. She walked confidently through my house, touching things like she owned them. She entered my kitchen and rearranged my pots. She wore gold chains Kunle bought her. She became pregnant, and suddenly I was the outsider in my own home. Please like, comment, and share and follow before we continue. One night, I heard them laughing in the next room. Laughing, the same way he used to laugh with me when we were newly married. I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were dull, my spirit tired. Was this the life I would teach my son to accept, that a woman must swallow humiliation to keep a title? The next morning, I packed my clothes. Kunle didn't believe me. "You won't leave." I looked at him calmly. "You already left me the day you chose her." I carried my son and walked out. The compound that once felt like home felt like a prison I had escaped. Don't forget to click on the follow button before we continue. Starting over was hard. Renting a small flat in Lagos, taking extra shifts at work, listening to people's gossip. But slowly, I found myself again. Peace returned in small doses. I laughed without forcing it. One evening, Kunle called. "Efe has changed," he said. "She's disrespectful. Things are not the same." I closed my eyes. Karma doesn't knock loudly. It works quietly. "I wish you well," I replied. Years later, I heard she left him for another man, and I grew stronger. The girl I helped may have taken my husband, but she didn't take my dignity, and that was something no one could ever steal again. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and follow for more stories. Bye for now.